On Tuesday, it looked like the U.S. and Iran were on the brink of war. Iran, not just a concern for the United States. Israel was also bracing for possible retaliation from the Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah. NBC's Matt Bradley is in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, Allison, if this is indeed the end of this little episode, then I think everybody is relieved. You know, the Iranians said that this was a slap on the face for Donald Trump in the U.S. U.S. officials said it looked more like a slap on the wrist. I think the entire region was expecting more like a punch to the gut, and instead, nothing really seemed to happen. It's all moving ahead as back to normal, which means basically the same kind of proxy war that Iran had been fighting throughout the region for the last several decades. Now, Israelis had been somewhat concerned about this. They were on a heightened state of alert. It's hard to tell when Israel's on a heightened state of alert because they're essentially always on a heightened state of alert. But we heard from Benjamin Netanyahu, we heard from other senior officials here in Israel that they expected that this was an American issue and an Iranian issue, and that nothing would come to hit here in Greater Israel. Not from Lebanese Hezbollah to the north, not from the Gaza Strip, from Palestinian Islamic Jihad or Hamas, who are also both backed by Iran. And that's exactly what happened. There were no consequences for Israel, even though in the past, the Iranians and Hezbollah have rarely met some kind of event or conspiracy theory that they haven't blamed on Israel. This just goes to show that as far as the Israelis are concerned, they see and they expect that the Iranians are going to differentiate now between the Trump administration and U.S. policy in the region. Now, is this really over? It's really hard to say. We just heard from the Iranians that there is going to be a follow-up attack. This was on the Tasnim news agency. But right now, it seems like this was almost perfectly suited for domestic Iranian consumption. The Iranians have reported on their own domestic television channels that as many as 40 to 80 Americans were killed in this bomb strike. That obviously is not true. We've heard from the Americans and the Iraqis and NATO that there were no casualties from any group and that these bombs seemed to land almost deliberately because they did look like they were very targeted. They hit buildings within both of those military bases in Iraq. They were targeted and they seemed to deliberately miss. And this means it looks as though the Iranians were trying to actively de-escalate the situation. That's consistent with what the Iranian leadership had said publicly. It means they're trying to avoid some sort of confrontation, but everybody here in the region, including the Israelis, do expect that this is going to continue. There will be an actual retaliation that will look more like a punch to the gut. But right now, once again, the ball is in everybody's court. Everybody is just waiting to see if the Iranians take this further or if they call this the end of their threatened retaliation.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.